On Google Earth, I noticed some structures positioned on cliffs in the Arizona desert. Join me today to find out what they are. Hey guys, welcome to another adventure with Ruins and Ridges. Today it is a very chilly morning. It's like 30 degrees, but as the day goes on and the sun comes out, it will get hot, like 70 degrees. Our mission for today is to climb this peak. Let's see, over there. And on Google Earth, there's something that looks like a wall. Possibly a ruin, I'm not sure. But to get there, we have to go across that creek over there, go through a couple canyons and ridges, and then it's a steep climb to the top. Along the creek here, there's this forest of beautiful cottonwood trees, and a lot of Native American tribes use them as food, medicine, and to carve sacred items. The geology here is super unique. It's mainly granite and basalt, but I think this is granite. There's some mica in there that's making it shiny, and this is limestone as well as this. There's quartz. There's some sandstone as well. I think there's an old structure here. It's like an old cabin. You can see the walls built up into a small little cabin here. There's some old wood pieces and metal around. So you have to navigate this creek somehow. It's not very big, but you need to jump over it somehow. Have to navigate this wobbly log. Let's see, is this... There's actually some ice on there. From Google Earth, on that like bluff over there over the river or creek, I could see this what looked like a wall. I'm not sure, it could be part of a cliff, but it looked very similar to a wall, so it's not too far out of the way. We're gonna go there. This is strange. So on Google Earth I could see a wall, but it was on the other side. Now there's a wall here, so maybe it stretches all the way through the cliffs onto the other side. These cliffs are made out of sandstone, which is also pretty unusual for this area around here. So it goes all the way from that cliff and extends up to those boulders up there. And I'm assuming all the way through the cliff band. There's a little walkway here. So I'm not sure if this is ancient. Could very well be, but it could also be a cowboy like fence almost. A rock fence, corral, something. I'm not sure. What do you think? So the wall continues from there, through those boulders, and up through there. Now, it's just as likely it is ancient as it's not. We'll never know for sure, really. I mean, I don't know. It's very hard to tell. But these sandstone cliffs are cool. in of themselves. This is a beautiful overlook right here. It's a little sketchy, but you can see the creek below, all the beautiful fall colors. This is the wall again. Typically, ancient ruins aren't built in this style because you can see there's plenty of gaps, and the wall is just pretty thin. So that's why I think it's probably like an old miner or cowboy corral defensive wall, some fence, something, but I'm not sure. So there's a wall here, but again, I don't think this is ancient because it's not the style that we typically see ancient ruins in. Probably to keep horses in or cows. Yeah, I don't know. This is a very good shelter though. It was probably used in ancient times, but that wall is definitely not ancient, although it could be restacked. This boulder kind of creates a natural wall, and then there's like this tunnel through to this other cave here. So that other smaller cave is over there, and then there's this chute that could be a natural access point up these cliffs. I'm using this natural pathway through these ledges. That boulder is maybe like 10 feet long, and it just looks like if this boulder ever moved, then this boulder would just tumble down the hill. Amazing that it's still standing there. This is the wall on top of the bluff. It's very carefully stacked, although it is very thin. So I'm still not sure what was the purpose of this. I mean, you couldn't live in here, obviously, but some kind of defensive something. I don't know. Some of these are very big boulders, and they're heavy too, so whoever was building this built it for a reason. And they used this natural cliff as well. And then it ends right there. So the creek winds in a couple turns. That's like a horseshoe bend right there. And then it bends again. So it's a very good view from here. I still don't know what's the purpose. The wall starts here, continues over boulders, goes across a grassy slope, and here it ends abruptly. I estimated the wall on Google Earth to be about 0.1 miles, 512 feet, 156 meters. It is about 5 feet tall in some places. Well, I flew the drone, got some cool shots, but it's interesting because it goes in a perfectly straight line almost, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the grass it just stops. So I have no idea why you would need a wall here if it just stops there. And then it goes through this natural break point over here, and then it continues down to the creek there. Well, that was just a little side trip, but now we're going to our main destination on top of that peak or butte over there. There's an old circle corral here, built out of these wood sticks. There are tons of these yellow wild gourds here, like all these round little melon looking things are wild gourds. They grow off of these vines. This tree's roots are like getting washed out every time this wash floods, and now they're just exposed on the side of this mud cliff. There's a huge, like 200-foot cliff of some kind of volcanic rock that stretches throughout one wall of this canyon. When this wash floods, it like creates these walls of dirt that just crumble away when you try to step on them. There's some cool volcanic concretions here. And then it turns red over there. We're following this wash because it heads into like this box slot canyon, but I think it cliffs out, so we'll need to climb out on either side after we see the slot. Looks like we're approaching the box canyon. Whoa, this is really cool in here. This would be a good spot to hide out in the canyon's coolness during the summer's heat. This reminds me a lot of Red Mountain near Flagstaff, Arizona. These cliffs are maybe 100 feet tall from bottom to top. And then there's this large area in here at the bottom. Now we're just trying to find a break in this cliff so we can access higher ground up there. Well, I think this is as good as it's gonna get. You have a couple options, going up there or up here. Okay, well, just to go a short distance, that box canyon is right underneath us over there. We have to go all the way around it, up some sketchy climbs, around here, and then down and back up this drainage. That's the butte we're aiming for over there. Still a far ways to go. And now it's like 80 degrees. That's how quickly the weather can change. Hitting a small saddle just before the final push to the top. It's a good view. Oh, that's cool. You can actually see up there, there's a hole in the wall. The last push is very steep. It's not too far, but it's almost straight up. Camera probably doesn't show the level of steepness, but I'm gonna aim for the left to stay on solid rock. It's also nice to get some shade on the north side. This is definitely a much more pleasant route than going up that steep grassy slope, because you're just like piecing together a maze. Pretty cool. Oh, that's so cool. I just got my first look at the wall. That's definitely ancient. I mean, why would you else you build that? It's definitely some defensive wall. There's a little hole through. They use this natural butte as a defensive point. And you can see this is the hole. Actually, yeah, this is the same hole I saw from below, looking up from that saddle down there. Looks like there's a point of entry without stepping over the wall over here. And it actually looks like they placed rocks right over there to block people from coming up. That almost looks like it's pointing. I don't know if they did that on purpose or what. See through the hole. So the wall goes there, comes here, and from Google Earth I could also tell this, but it kind of like zigzags with the natural mountain all the way out to that corner. The drone will do a better job at showing this than the camera. They built the wall right to the edge, so pretty much a drop off. This could be a natural occurrence, but that boulder looks like they placed it there to sort of block or make it harder for people to come up the chute. And then there's this cool ridge to the very summit of this butte. Here's a look at the wall from higher up again. Sort of like zigzags with the mountain all the way there, and then it ends. So we're not seeing any pottery sherds. What are your thoughts on what this wall was used for? I think it's defensive. I mean, what else could it really be used for? It's a defensive wall, but there's no ruins on top. It's just the one wall, so it's kind of strange. I guess if they lived lower down in the valley, if there's any threat, they could always come up here and be safe. Well, there was a long push up here all the way, like, I don't know, 3 miles away. It's all off trail bushwhacking, but it's worth it once you get up here. And to me, the geology is just as fascinating as the ancient history. And the ancient Native American people utilized the geology in a way that will create this amazing fortress. This is the summit! On the summit here, there's this natural bowl shape, and it looks like there used to be a wall right there to like block off that side, so you're completely sheltered in here, way on the top. Of course, just when we came to the summit, super windy. It was not windy on the climb up, it's just hot. But always on the summit, it has to be windy. Still managed to get some drone shots, just barely. So hopefully those turned out okay. This may be a volcanic plug. I'm not exactly sure. This rock is like basalt, I think. It might be a volcanic plug again. I don't know, it's just all out by itself, so it probably is. So, I don't think people lived up here, but I think, in my opinion, people lived down in those lower areas because the only permanent water sources are where all those cottonwoods were. That's the creek we crossed. Or an even bigger river down over there. You can see the canyon. Everything else is basically dry 99% of the year. So if you lived up here, you know, that's like 2 miles to each one of those. So I don't think this was like a permanent living area, but some kind of defensive or hunting blind area. Again, the wall zigzags from there out to this point. Blocking the easiest route up that grassy slope. Everything else is pretty steep. So that's it. What a fun adventure. It was a long push to get here, but it's worth it for sure. Sorry for that wind, but thank you for watching, and please let me know what your favorite part was in the comments.